I'm pleased to say we're joined by the two-time major champion Nathan Aspinall. Thanks for the time again, Nathan. How are you doing?
Yeah, not a problem, pal. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. The year coming up now. Enjoyed a couple of weeks off, but yeah, looking forward to mine at the weekend.
Yeah, we're talking just a few days before you're going to be heading off to Minehead for the Players' Championship finals, the last stop on the road to Ali Pali. I'm guessing you're itching to get back on that stage after missing out on the Grand Slam.
Yeah, I was obviously gutted. I love the Grand Slam. It probably, after the match play, probably my favourite tournament to play in. So, yeah, it was a bad qualification, and I didn't make it, unfortunately. But I've used it to my advantage. I've had some quality time off with the family. Been away for a few days, and been hard on the practice board. And hopefully I can use the rest to my advantage and have a good one this weekend.
Definitely. Well, Luke Littler, a young man you know very well, went on to win the Grand Slam at the weekend. You said you were away. Did you manage to watch any of the tournament, or are you like some of the other players who prefer not to watch?
I watched the last two legs of the Gary-Luke game in the semi-final, and I turned the final on at night, and it was something like 7-2. And I just turned off and put the box set back on, so I knew it was only one outcome. But now, fair play to him. It's like I say, I'm mates with Luke, and this year he's been fantastic. The numbers he's been putting in is obscene, and believe it or not, it's his first actual proper ranked TV major. So yeah, fair play to him. He was phenomenal all tournament based on the averages that I've seen. So probably the worthy winner, and hopefully that's his last one this year. It's getting a bit boring now, isn't it?
Well, let's get back to you, and it is the Players' Championship finals next for you. You come in as the 64th and final qualifier. You're facing another player that you know well, Chris Dobey. The draw's based on those Players' Championship rankings, so we've known the draw for a few weeks now. Have you guys been in contact, any pre-game nibbles at each other?
It started the evening of the qualification, to be fair. Obviously, everyone knows I'm not a massive fan of the Players' Championship events, and I played more this year than I played in the last few years, but still been competing and in as many as I really should do. So yeah, I think I'm quite fortunate to qualify. I owed my mate Johnny a drink or two for beating Nick Kenny in that final last leg. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been sat here talking to you now. I wouldn't have been there. So yeah, happy to get there, lucky to get there. But don't matter whether you're number 1 or number 64. I'm in the tournament now, and I believe I can go on and win it. Like I say, I've got a tough first game. Probably don't get much tougher for me than playing Dobey's. He's arguably my best mate on the tour, and we spend a lot of time together. We do normally room with each other in Miami, but for obvious reasons we've got separate rooms this time. But yeah, it's on the Thursday night we all went out for a meal for Stevie B's leaving do, and the banter started probably about 2 hours after the draw was confirmed, and it continued ever since. So yeah, there's a lot of bragging rights to be playing for. I think we don't care about the tournament, we just want to beat each other. So it'll be played in good spirit, and I'm sure it'll be a fantastic game.
Yeah, we're looking forward to watching it. And just lastly on the weekend, before we look back, Minehead, the place where you won your first major at the UK Open, but your record in this event, it's the only major you've not made at least the semi-finals in. Your best run has been the second round. I'm guessing it's time to change that this weekend.
That's why I don't play the Pro Tours. I hate this tournament. I don't know what it is. I think every player has that one tournament. I think most of the time it's a Grand Prix that people don't like, but for some reason I don't know what it is. I just really struggle in this event. I don't know if it's because I'm more focused on the World Championships. That could be it. I don't know, but like I say, I didn't know it was a semi-final. Is it the semi-final that I've been to more?
Yeah, you've been to the semi-finals or better in all the other ranking majors apart from this one.
It was the quarter-finals a couple of years back, so I've obviously changed that somewhere without realising. But yeah, that's a fantastic start for myself, to be fair. I didn't know that. So yeah, hopefully we had this one, the final one to the list this weekend, and who knows. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Again, it's a weird one for me. I think because I don't enjoy the Players' Championship events throughout the year. I just do not enjoy them at all. Even though this is the finals and it is a TV event, maybe in the back of my mind, I know it's to do with the Players' Championship event. If that makes sense, I don't know. But yeah, best assured, because I missed out in the Grand Slam last week, I will be giving it 110%, and let's change that bad record, and hopefully turn it into a positive this week.
Well, let's get on to some other events where you've had plenty of success in. We last had you on the show just after your World Grand Prix final towards the end of 2022. A month later, you were in another final at the Grand Slam. You said to us you wanted to make it impossible for the PDC to leave you out of the Premier League. So were you confident those two finals would get you back in last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's shown. I think just prior to that, I think maybe I had a little bit of time off of my wrist, if I remember correctly. But to make two finals in the space of 6 weeks was fantastic. At that time, it's not been so good for me this last month. It's been horrendous because all my money's come off. But at that time, it was great, and I'd nearly beat Van Gogh in the final of the Grand Prix. I came back really well. I think I was 4-0 down in sets, and I pulled it back well. But and then obviously Smithy beat me in the Grand Slam. I was just absolutely shattered that day. But yeah, he got me back in the Premier League, and everyone knows how much I love the Premier League. That was what I was born to do, was to walk on big stages like that, and soak up all the atmosphere and entertain 10,000 people every Thursday night. And I was absolutely buzzing to get the call that was included back in the Premier League, and it was another successful campaign. Just missing out on the playoffs.
Yeah, in our last chat you said you wanted to experience the full wrath of the Premier League. Your previous two had been during the pandemic, so what was it like last year getting to experience those 16 weeks, 16 venues across Europe and play in front of all those big crowds?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. One of my dreams was always to walk out at the Manchester Arena, which obviously I did a couple of years ago. I got beat. I played Smithy, I think, if I remember correctly. I got beat and I didn't play well. I was an absolute bag of nerves. But the walk-on was so special. I had all my mates there, all my family. And I had a solid campaign. Like I said, I think I just missed out on, I think it was leg difference in the end against Johnny, if I remember correctly. But yeah, again, like I say, to finish fifth in the Premier League with all the travel in that, against the calibre of players that was in it that year, I put it down. It was quite a successful season, and I think all them games kick-started my season off, and obviously we know what happened after that, the matchplay game.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a second. You got to do it all again though this year in the Premier League, and you've had 2 visits to at least all of the venues during the regular season. I'm guessing the answer to this question might be Manchester, but do you have a favourite venue and a favourite city out of all of them?
See, it's hard to say, not to say Rotterdam, considering I played there twice and won twice. And believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of playing in Holland. For some reason, I really struggle. Playing European tours or World Series events in Holland. I do struggle out there, generally speaking. But Rotterdam has been really good to me. But now, obviously, I've got to say Manchester. The homecoming, the atmosphere, even more so this year because I won the first game. I played Rob Cross. I played really well. I got a lot of experience from playing last year where, if I'm being dead honest with you, I absolutely bricked it when I was stood on that walk-on. It's probably the most nervous I've ever been in a game of darts, and I learned from the previous year how to handle myself on the walk-on, and I beat Rob, played really well, and I think we gave the fans the game they wanted in Manchester, and it was me and Luke Littler, and he beat me yet again. It was amazing, and Manchester will always be my favourite. But there's so many good venues now. A lot of the players like the Dublin Premier League. Dublin brings a fantastic atmosphere. They're all great, but Manchester's number one for me.
Fair enough. Well, you alluded to the World Matchplay going back to last year. We've got to mention that win. You said it was the proudest moment of your career so far, your second major title. How many times have you watched the clip back of that match-winning dart in the final?
The only time I ever watch it is, obviously, again, we'll come on to this, I'm sure, but because I've had a bit of a bad year and with injuries and that, and, at times when you're thinking about jacking it in, I always should click it in YouTube and remember them, the good times, shall we say, and that was, like I said, many, many times. It was probably one of the proudest moments of my life, let alone just my darts career. And it was a memory that will last me forever. And it was amazing. And I thought I would have kicked on after winning that. Clearly, I haven't. But it was still an amazing week. And to have Kirsty and the girls with me, my mum and everyone was there. It was amazing. And it was one tournament that I really wanted to win in my career, and I did it.
Yeah, special moment. And your first major, we mentioned earlier, the UK Open. I don't know if it was different for you, but we've had the last two winners on the show. Andrew Gilden, he celebrated with a pot noodle. Dimitri Vandenberg this year said it was a very quiet celebration, but I imagine winning the match play a Sunday night in Blackpool, the options are endless. So how did you celebrate that win?
It would have been if I didn't have my two kids with me. I would have been in old clubs in Blackpool knowing me. But we went back to the hotel, and the manager was with me. Gary Plummer from Target was there, and we had a couple of drinks on the Saturday evening after my semi-final win. And he was like, "Right, if you win, I'll get you a bottle of Dom Perignon, and we'll have a glass of champagne." So obviously I won, and obviously we were only in Blackpool, so the hotel had to dig down into the wine cellar to find a bottle of champagne for us. And we had a couple of glasses of champagne. And to be fair, we had an early night because we was up in the morning and drove back to Stockport with the kids. And that was it, really. I did a lot more celebrating when I won the UK Open, if I'm deadly honest, than the match play, because I'm pretty sure like 2 or 3 days after that, I flew somewhere for a World Series event. So I didn't really have much. I flew to Australia, actually. So we didn't really have time to celebrate as much as I would have liked. But I'm getting older now. My party days are over, so I've just spent it with my partner and my kids. And we made the most of it.
Yeah, still some good times. And one more on last year, we saw you go and see 50 Cent in concert and meet him as well. How was that? And did you consider changing your walk-on to one of his songs afterwards?
Well, you know what, actually tipped up, and one of his security came over to me and said 50 said that he was here. He wanted to meet me. I didn't really. I love all my hip hop and my rap, and I bought me and Kirsty tickets, and there was an opportunity to meet him. So obviously I grabbed it with both hands, and it was an amazing experience. You know what, I would love to change my walk. I'm not to the 50 Cent song, but to like an Eminem song or something, but I don't think the fans or the PDC would really appreciate me walking out to Lose Yourself instead of Mr. Brightside, to be honest. But it was a great experience, and we've got a whole Eminem tour next year now, because he's the one that I want to meet.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And the Mr. Brightside walk-on, I was there in Manchester at the Premier League this year. It's become one of the most popular walk-ons in the game. You might be sick of hearing that song now, but have you been to see the Killers perform it live yet?
No, I haven't. The amount of times I get tagged in stuff, like you need to get Nathan to walk out to it, and this, that, and the other. And funny story, really. When we was in Vegas this year, me and Smithy, a guy that we was with had quite a lot of connections, and he was speaking to like the Killers record label, trying to get me to meet them in Vegas. Obviously, that's where they're from. And ironically, the weekend that we were in Vegas, they were performing at Manchester. Oh. So we were in our opposite home territory, shall we say. So, no, I've never met them, but I'm sure as long as I'm walking out to Mr. Brightside and keeping it in the charts for them, I'm sure our paths will cross at some point in the future.
Yeah, one day it'll happen. Well, let's get on to this year. You were back in Blackpool for that World Matchplay title defence, and you touched on it. Unfortunately, you went into it not at 100%. You took a break after that event. You said to us, wanted to play pain-free again. Before it was the wrist injury, now the elbow, which you've had treatment on. The physical challenge is tough, but how mentally challenging have these injuries been?
Yeah, it's been tough, and I'm trying to be the, what's the word? I won't say ambassador, that's the wrong word, but I'm trying to be the guy that tries to support other lads now on the tour that are going through something similar, trying to tell them that, you know, if you have got an injury, playing through it is not the right thing to do. You know, people are so scared of falling down the rankings or not qualifying for this or not qualifying for that, and what a lot of the lads forget is how young we are still. So I rushed back last time after my wrist injury, and I was never right. But when I came back after my wrist, I was still in pain. And I just played for 18 months with like taking tablets, putting gel on it, strapping up, and you can't beat these players if you're not 100%. So when my elbow completely went, I seek professional advice, and everyone was on the same opinion that I need to walk away from the game for a bit and do the proper treatment and come back 100%. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the next 15 years of my career with injuries. So I knew it was a big risk defending. So I didn't know I was going to be back for the Grand Prix. Luckily, I was, but there were certain events that I knew I had to play in really to defend my ranking event. But I looked at the bigger picture. If I'm not back, it is what it is. I'm good enough. I'm confident in my own ability that even if I miss 6 months, I can get back to the top. And that's what I'm going to have to probably do, because of what I didn't qualify for the Grand Slam. Just missed out on the Grand Prix against Ryan Joyce. Like I say, I know next year is a massive year for me, but I wouldn't change it. The treatment was intense. It was tough, mentally challenging, being away from the game so long. But come out the other side of it now, and I'm pleased to say that I've got absolutely no pain whatsoever. I'm 100% fit. If anything, I'm more fit now than I've ever been because I've started doing a lot of fitness and stuff away from the game. So overall, the right decision, and hopefully now I'm 100% fit with a bit of luck on the side, a bit of confidence from having a decent run. Next year could probably be my best year I've ever had.
Great to hear that you're back to 100%, and you made your return to the oche in September. We've seen you in a few TV events, the Pro Tours as well. The last Pro Tour, you had a different look. You were one of the players dressed up as Steve Beaton for his last Players' Championship. We've got to ask, where did the idea come from? Because we saw the pictures in the video. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I can't actually remember who it was. Like the lads that sit on the table on Pro Tours, they're all fantastic guys. Myself, Dobie, Johnny, Joe, Ross Smith, and Adam Hunt, Andy Bolton, Joycey. We have a great laugh. I think if you ever come into a Pro Tour, you can just hear one table and it's us lot. We just have a laugh. We enjoy ourselves, and we're all so close. And obviously, we knew Steve was finishing this year, and he'd been not only for darts but for us lads as well. We're young lads, and he's helped all of us. Myself, Joe, Dobie. He's been a mentor to us all over the last 6-7 years. And we just wanted to give him a send-off and let him know how much he actually meant to us all. And someone could just dressing up as him, which we thought was absolutely fantastic. We blagged Ryan Joyce to say that we'd all putting false tan on to look like him. And he was like, yeah, I'm up for that. And unfortunately, we actually really thought on the Thursday afternoon he was going to tip up with a load of false tan on, but he didn't, unfortunately for us. That would have been brilliant. But now we did it, and I spoke to the PDC, made them aware of what we were doing, trying to get a bit of filming for Steve and for social, and it was a great send-off, and I don't think there's anyone else on the tour that deserves it more than him, and he really appreciated it. We went out for a curry at the night, and it was a great send off for a fantastic guy and legend of the game.
Yeah, echoing that. And just lastly on Steve as well, Monday next week we've got the tour card holder qualifiers for Ali Pally. Are you going to be keeping one eye on Dart Connect to see if he can qualify?
Yeah, definitely. I think there should be a petition if he don't qualify to stick him in anyway. There's so many spots up for grab for different qualifiers from all over the world. Let's take one away from out of Mongolia and give it Steve Beaton. But he played well. We keep saying still a fantastic dart player. Probably not top 32, but he's still a top 64 in the world player in my eyes. Anyway, so I think he'll get through. I think he's destined to. If there is a God out there, they'll be shining down on him come next Monday, and he'll get a place, because I think what he's done for the game, he deserves one final send-off, and what better place to do it than Alapella.
Yeah, we've all got our fingers crossed. Well, we'll finish up with some listener questions before we let you go. The first one comes from Azra, who says, probably been answered already elsewhere, but why have you gone back to your old darts?
Well, so I've actually changed them even further, which you'll all see on Friday night. But yeah, basically, obviously, while I've been off with my injury, I've had time to reflect on my performance and stuff. And even though I won the match play with my new darts and I produced great numbers, I feel like the consistency wasn't there with them. I feel like I was more consistent back in 2019, 2020, 2021 than I am now. I believe my scoring's not as good with these new darts. So, a combination of a lot of things, really. I was so focused on trying to make my darts slimmer to try and get more in the treble 20. When in actual fact, based on stats, I used to hit more 180s with my old darts and my new darts. So, go back to basics, go back to what works week in, week out, and that was my old dart. So, could have been off for 4 months. I thought, why not? I'll give him a go. And as soon as I put him in my hand, I just kind of felt at home with him, and I've stuck with him since. And like I say, I've done another tweak ahead of this weekend, which will be obvious to see for everyone the second to throw a dart. So I'm not going to ruin it. Watch them Friday, but they just feel fantastic. These old darts.
Excellent. And Tracy says that she's been rehabbing golfer's elbow since January, almost better apart from flare-ups, not back playing yet. But can Nathan chat about his treatment plan and how he felt throughout the injury? Very glad he's back at the oche. Fingers crossed I'll be soon too.
Yeah, so it started off with golfer's elbow and like tendonitis. So I went through something called shockwave therapy. And I'm no doctor, but basically what I've been told is if you have ligament or tendon damage, or like let's say golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, if it's not healed within 6 weeks, your brain stops sending good blood to it. It thinks that it's healed. So what this shockwave therapy does is it's kind of like imagine like a big pen with a big ball bearing on the end, and it just keeps whacking the injured area. So what it does is it flares it up and it reminds your brain that there's still an injury there. So it keeps sending all the good blood to that particular area. So that was what I had. I had about nine treatments of that once a week. But then once that was healed, I was still in a bit of pain. So I had a scan on my elbow, and they noticed that I kind of had like a floating bone in my actual elbow joint. And that was what was causing a lot of it as well. So I had to have some plasma injected directly into my elbow joint, as well as some cortisone. And I've actually got to have a scan in January to make sure that this bone has kind of settled and it's not irritating my elbow anymore. If it is irritating it, then I'll have to get it shaved off in January. But at the moment, there's nothing there. So it's one of them, anything to do with joints and ligaments, from what I've been told from doctors and stuff like that, and what I've had my own experience, time heals. So doing nothing with that area for as long as you possibly can, as well as seeking like the best treatment you can get. And like I say, it took me 3 months, but touch wood, there's absolutely nothing at all wrong with it now.
Yeah, hopefully that scan comes through okay. And the next one, they want to know, when are you next coming to Stockport Junior Darts Academy?
When I've got a weekend off. I've got to stop booking exhibitions. I think that's what the problem is. I will be there. Depends on the draw for the World Championships. I could be there on the last one before Christmas. It all depends on when I'm playing at the World Championship. Generally speaking, they always stick me on the bloody 23rd at the night. So chances are I'll be there before Christmas. But if not, all I'll say to the lads from the Stockport Darts Academy, there's some exciting announcements in January. So if you don't see me before Christmas, you'll definitely see me the first couple of weeks in Jan.
There we go. And last one before we let you go, Connor Troy wants to know, does Nathan think he needs a strong end to the year to be in Premier League contention for 2025?
That's one word for it. Yeah. Listen, I love the Premier League. Everyone knows I love the Premier League. At the moment, I think there's more chance of you being in it than me.
Get in.
If I'm deadly honest with you. But, it's I definitely need a strong end to the year. I think if you have a decent run at the World, even a quarters or a semi-final, I think that would put me in it. Making the final of the Minehead one this weekend would put me in it. I don't think I have to win it, if I'm deadly honest, because I think come the end of the year, I think I'm 10 or 11. So if I can make some decent ranking money, I think if I get in the top 8, I think I'm in with a shout. Just because what I bring to the Premier League as well with the walk on and the way they play the game. You know, they don't want to put 8 guys in it that are all like the same, just walk on their stone face to play the game and walk off. You know, I think there's certain people that bring a different presence to stage, in my opinion. So I think the PDC want me in it as much as I want to be in it, if I'm deadly honest with you. But at the moment, there's a hell of a lot more players that deserve that spot more than me. So yeah, big end of the year, and I'll be back. If not, then I've got something to aim for the following year.
Well, Nathan, it's always a pleasure to get you on the show. Thanks for giving us so much of your time. Best of luck with Minehead, Ali Pally, and we'll see if I'll be playing you in the Premier League next year.
We'll see, mate. We'll play the car park, me and you.